All right, fans out there watching. We are about to get started. Just hang with us. Players are just getting warmed up and taking a bathroom break, but the action should be starting soon. All right. Looks like we are almost there. Just did the coin toss. And looks like Kim is just getting a couple more warm-up strokes in. Really trying to get dialed in, but I believe all the players are here, aren't they? Are we still waiting on We're still waiting on Molina to show up. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, guys, we are ready for action. Joe Tamura and Kim Raymond versus Melina Ortiz and Bob Olson. This is sure to be a great match. This is a third place match in the Elite Scotch Doubles. Loser gets third, winner goes on to play in the finals, which will be next. So, fantastic matchup. This is Patrick Nixon. I've got Jack Kiske in the booth co-commentating with me.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're all having a great time watching the stream and enjoying some great pool.
And we are coming to you live from Lincoln City, Oregon for the Western BCA 8-Ball Championships. You are watching this on the EvoSports live stream platform that we have demo stations set up, and we are streaming from tables 17 and 18 all week long. If you happen to be down this way, come by the booth and say hello. We are also offering this live stream system that is simple and easy to use, direct through the tablets that we install in the bar or pool hall for players to use. So here we go. Joe Tamura coming with a head-on break. Cue ball gets a little movement there, and I didn't see any balls go in.
No, he caught that a little off, so didn't end up making anything on that break. But there's a little bit of work to be done here for sure.
Yeah, so I'm looking at taking solids simply because I don't like that. I don't like that that little cluster of the 13 and 14 there. So, but the shot on solids is, well, the 2 ball should play down there.
The 6 will play in the side. The 7 plays down to the bottom left corner.
Yep.
May be able to cut the 3 down.
Yeah.
But
you
that's
could.
That's probably not the way to go. But the problem you have here, if you do take the solids, is it's tough to be able to get good on that 8 ball.
Good point.
The run for solids is better, but getting to the 8 is difficult. You have a lot of safety opportunities if you take the stripes and kind of a little bit of a safety net with the 8 ball being in so much traffic and having such limited opportunity for pockets with it.
Good point. When you're looking at stripes and solids, you do also have to look at where the 8 ball is and what surrounds it. That's a good point, but I still am taking solids in there. And Melina agrees, starting with that 6 in the side, pounding the cue ball, stunning the cue ball off the rail and back out a bit, and leaving her partner Bob a pretty straight line on the 7, which I believe is going to be his next shot. He also has the 2 ball if he wants it, or the 4 in the side, so he's got a couple of options here.
Yeah, I like just rolling the 7 down in the corner, try and get the cue ball right where he was just looking, if that 5 will pass the 10 ball into the side pocket.
So rolling the cue ball to about right here.
Came up a little short on that. You're going to be drifting away from the 2-4 and pretty straight toward that 3 ball, I think. I think he wanted to be a little straighter so that Melina could take the 5 and roll forward and be able to take the 2 in the other side and just stop there for the 4.
Feel free to take a
moment. And they are running the Calcutta for the elite singles right now here, so it is going to get a bit loud in here. And a big miss from Melina there to give an opportunity for Kim Raymond to come to the table.
Yeah, she was trying to get that 8 ball opened up. Like I was saying earlier, it was in a difficult spot with all of those stripes surrounding it. She tried to go for it early, which is a good move, but she gave up the shot trying to do too much with it. But she did get a little fortunate that stripe stays in trouble over to the right. That's between the 1 and the 8.
Oh, so Kim is really stretching over the table here.
You know that
I just don't like the stretching over the side of the table. I would have rather used the extension on my cue and gotten straight flat on it and lean over the table for that shot. That's just me personally. I don't do well when I'm leaning over the table and leaning my body over because I just can't get that direct line over the cue. My head is a little tilted sideways. It doesn't look the same as when you're directly over your cue. And even if it's a longer reach for me, and if I've got to use a bridge or an extension, I'm going to do that rather than leaning over the side of the table to get that shot. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the better shot there would have been to have cut the 9 into the corner and then play shape to can't see the 11 ball, I think it is, if you were to cut the 9 and then play shape to the 11 to then have a chance to be able to open up the
Hey,
stripe that's over there by the 8.
I'm thinking I can barely hear because of Rahana doing the Calcutta here. I'm thinking we might just pause the commentating here and have you guys watch the match, and we'll come back when they're done with the auction because I'm having a hard time even hearing myself right now. They got it pretty loud in here, so
I agree.
Guys, you guys can at home can commentate yourselves and commentate the match. And we will be back in probably about 5-10 minutes after they're done with this auction.
9, Dave. Dave is 9. 900 going once. 900 going twice. 1,000. Tony. 1,000 going once. 1,100. Dave. 1,100 going once. 1,100 going twice. Oh, wait a minute. How much? 12. Okay. My man, 1,200 going once. 1,200 going twice. Sold to Dave. Dave, who you want? Mr. Big Game James is off the board. James the B is gone. Dave, you can't escape. Uh-oh. Here comes the, oh boy. Here comes trouble. Y'all lucky this guy wasn't here early. Okay. Starting second pick up the litter. Second pick up the litter. James the B is off the board. Starting at 200. Do we hear 200? We got 200 right there. This gentleman with the cool shirt. 200 going once. 300 right here. It's Tony. 400 right here, my man. Slick. Yeah, there we go. 400 right there. 500. That's a car payment, bro. You don't do it if it's gonna hurt you, bro. Don't hurt yourself. 500. What's up there, big man? What you doing? You been against your buddy? You guys. 500 going once. 500 going twice. Make up your mind. You did? 6. 600. Dan Triangle's in. Dan Louis in. I ain't gonna say my man's name because he looked at me hard. 600 going once. 600 going twice. 700. My man said you can have it. 700 going once. 700 going twice. Sold to Tony for 700. Who you got? Dan Triangle is out of there. All right. Yeah, that was 700. Okay. We're going to start right down the list, you guys. Michael Gordon at 627 Fargo. What are we starting at? 50, right? Yeah. Michael Gordon, you got 50 on yourself. Michael Gordon? Okay. 50 going once. 50 going twice on Michael Gordon. So I got 20, 25. We're going to sell the field. My man said he got 20. There you go. Good way. All right. 20. Bob has 20. 20 going once. 20 going twice. Sold to Bob. I like that move. That move is slick. Okay. Coming up at a 612. Rob Cameron. Rob Cameron, you in the building? He's here? Rob, you trying to play that? What do you say? Oh, what's up? Hi, Rob. All right, Rob. You got 50 on yourself, buddy? 20 on yourself? All right, 20. Man, I thought I was in money time. You guys are in low ball. 20 going once. 20 going twice. No 25, no 30, no nothing? You gotta let people slide, man. All right, sold to Rob Gordon for 20. Rob, we don't take checks. Come bring that 20 up here, bro. Leo, I can't see. Leo, 25. 20, going once. 20, going twice. Sold to himself. Stop racking that ball. Come bring me my $20, bro. All right. Next up. Oh, Brookman Holmes. 664. Brookman, where you at? Sneaky guy. Brookman. No Brookman? All right. Anybody want Brookman for $20? Oh, look at one of the hands go up, boy. I knew that was going. All right. That was 20, 25. We got 30. 30 going once. We got 40 right here. What you doing? 100. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Don't be half-stepping. 100. We got 100 on me right here. We got 150, 150. What you want to do, man? Two entry to left. Steve Register. 150 going once for Brooklyn Holmes. 150 going twice. So the steady. What? 200 under the wire. Look at you, Sneaky. The price is right. Look at him. He said, reach in your wallet. He said, Steve, he had you, bro. 200 going once, my man, right here. 200 going twice. Sold to this gentleman, Brooklyn Holmes, $200. I'm not paying nobody. You gotta ask them. There you go. You good? That's what's up. I'm curious too. All right, where we at? Okay, Ryan Cardin, 635. Hey Ryan, where you at? Oh, my man. There you go. You got 25 on yourself, bro? My man said, of course I do. All right, we got Ryan right here with 25. Do I hear 30? For Ryan. All right. 25 going once. This is stealing. 25 going twice. Sold to itself. How you let people steal themselves? God, mother. Yeah, 25. That's a steal. All right. Coming up next at a 527, Mr. Steve Register. Steve, I know you got 25 on yourself, bro. Right. Steve with 25 on yourself. Do I hear 30? Steve Register. 25 going once? Yeah, that's Steve. 25 going once. We got 30 right here. Oh, he said, never mind. All right. He knows better. 30 going once. 30 going twice. Sold to the young lady right there. Steve Register. 30 bucks. Okay. There's a guy here. His name is Jackson McDonald. Ooh. He's at is that a 596? Oh, 596. Jackson McDonald. Jackson, I'm gonna get him. You got 50 on yourself, bro. All right, I can't jump up on you. All right, bro. Well, all right. You got 25 on yourself? 5. We hear anything else? You got 25 on Jackson McDonald. We got 30 right there. We got 35 right here. We got 40 over here. I told you 50 bucks, bro. We got 40. 40 going once. 40 going twice. Sold to Steve Register for $40. Stealing. How you go for $40, bro? All right. Next up, my man Chad Wisconer. Chad, do you have $20 on yourself? All right. Chad said he has 20 on something. We got 25. We got 50 right here. Oh, okay. 50 going once for Chad. 100. Man, look at you, big sexy. 120. 200. 200 going once. 250. Ooh. 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 She didn't bid on you, but she bid on Chad. Uh-oh. 300. I like you. I like you that much. 300 going once. 350. 400. 400 going once. 400 going once. 400 going twice. 450. Ooh. Look at this guy. 450. What corporation you got? We got 5 right here. It's a corporation happening. What's the matter with you? Bid against your own guy, you dummy. Oh, that's his guy. going twice. Sold to Tony for 500. Tony, nobody beats me. Tony, that's his name. Okay. Next up, we have Mike C. Callie. Somebody help me. Holla. All right. He's at a 630, 628. Okay. Mike, where you at? No, Mike? Okay. Do we get a 25 for Mike? There it is. Oh, girl said I got 25. Yeah, I know something you don't know. 25 going once. Oh, never mind. Game over. Hundo. My man said I'm skipping all the trash. Going straight to 100. You ain't stealing nobody. 100 going once. 100 going twice. Stolen by that smart gentleman right here. His name is Hondo. My man got two first names. You know he got money. So my name is Mark Joe. Okay. Coming up, Steve Klein at the 634. Steve, where you at? Steve, where you at, Steve? We got 20. Oh, Steve, somebody knows it. 20 out, Steve. 20 going once. Go ahead, 25. 25. 30. Oh, wow, man, you guys are easy. 30 going once. He looked at Chad, he said, never mind. 30 going once. 30 going twice. Sold him on the head. Okay. That was Steve Klein. Yes. Next up, Steve Klein. I'm sorry. You know, I'm new at this. It's my second time. Get ready. Don Davidson at 646. Big Don, where you at? Don's not in the building. If you guys were in Jersey or the East Coast, you'd be getting robbed. Whack. Do we have 20 on Don? 20 on Don. Don Davidson. Don D. 646. Sounds like a stealing Fargo to me. 646. We got 20 going once. 40. No stealing here. 60. Hundo. Mark, Joe, don't be looking back there. Well, I'm right here, bro. 120. Cheap pair of shoes for 120, bro. What you want to do? 120. Mark, Joe. 120 going once. 120 going twice. Uh-oh. Gentleman white hat. 140. Sneaking up on you, Mark, Joe. 140 going once. That gentleman right there with all white on. Now I'm dining out. Narky. You get you? 140 going once. 140 going twice. Sold to that dapper gentleman right there. I guess y'all know him, right? All right. I'll send my boys to go get that money. Okay. Next up, Jason Young at 667. Jason, where you at? There you go. Jason, you have 25 on your show? You never get yourself in my job up. He said, yep. 25 going once. 25 going twice. 40. 40 to Tony. 40 going once. 40. You get enough? 40 going once. 40 going twice. 50. 60. 65. Yes, deep waters. 75, man. Nobody beats Tony. 75 going once. 75 going twice. Sold to Tony. I'm going to get a voice recorder that says, sold to Tony. Sold to Tony. Okay. Next up we have, oh boy. How does this guy slip on the radar? Somebody named Dan Louis, 671. I heard that name and I'm from California. Where Dan Louis at? He hiding. Well, you guys know who that guy is. We got a 100 right here. 100 going once. 125. Huh? 150. 160. 200. 220. It's on you, Mr. Register. 230. 250. Mr. change your mind. What you want to do? What you want to do, Mr. Register? Cash register? Empty register? She got 350. You got 320? She said 320, right? So she said 320. All right, 320 going once with the Louis. 320 going twice. Sold to your lady for 320. She'll be right back. Don't rob the bank while you're out there. Okay. Here we go. Under the radar. The guy is everywhere. He's a legend. PNW legend. I think they call him just the Lingelbach. Steve Lingelbach at a 690 Fargo. He ain't gonna play around. Who got 100? 200. Thought he wasn't playing around. 200 for Steve Lingelbach. 200 going once. 220. He'll give you stay down too. I told you. He just looked at 220. Don't say nothing else. 220? 250. I'm not even looking at money. 300. That's what I'm talking about. My man said, who that? Where we at? He got 300. Sorry, bro, what? 350. 350 for Mr. Lingelbach. What's going on? 350. 400. He said, hold on, let me go call. I got a phone with a friend. Yo, bro, how much you got in your pocket? I got 200. Well, he's at 4, right? Yo, my man, you coming back, bro? What's happening? Yo, man, what's going to do? 400 going once out there in the corporation. 400 going twice. Sold the Joe right here for 400. Guys can come back and say, how much? All right, how many we have in the field, bro? 16 in the field? That concludes our activities for today. I hope you all win. Top 3, top 4, whatever it is. Don't forget to tip your bartenders and barmaids. Thank you very much.
Okay, we are back on for commentating again. Sorry for that pause in the commentary, guys, but it just got really loud in here during the auction for the elite singles, and it looks like
That was a nice shot.
Yeah, it looks like Molina and Bob are taking care of business off the dry break from Kim Raymond.
That was a great run out.
Yeah, so it was I believe in rack 2, I think I missed some of it, but I think it was a break and run in rack 2 from ORTÍZ and OLSON, and then a dry break and a run out from ORTÍZ and OLSON in rack 3. So tough going here for Kim Raymond and Joe TAMURA. They're going to have to really bring it, and it's early in this race to 6. You know, the game has not gotten away from them, but they know that they have to play absolutely perfect to take down this monster team. So we'll see how this works out. And now ORTÍZ and OLSON get the break.
Good opportunity if they can get a good break here to be able to get a 2-game lead.
Yeah.
They're definitely capable of being able to break and run a rack. We already saw them do it earlier.
Yes, we have. There. They've only had one break in this set, and this is their second break. So the only break they've had was the break and run. I believe it was a break and run. I didn't catch the whole thing, but it certainly looked like it from the shots that we had watched. How's everybody doing out there? I'm not seeing anybody in the chat. I see we've got a good handful of people watching. This is Patrick Nix and Jack Kiske commentating to you live from Lincoln City, Oregon.
The cue ball took a pretty good hit coming off of that break, but managed to stay up on the table and got a ball down.
Yep, this is trouble. This rack is trouble. It's not going to be an easy run out rack at all. I do like stripes a little bit better than solids, I think. But either one has problems, right? It's hard to say. I mean, the problem with solids is pretty obvious. You've got the obvious 3-4 cluster, and then you also have the challenge with the 6 ball sitting over here, kind of in a bad spot. So,
well, the 2's not in a great spot either.
And the 2, yeah. So you've got 3 problems. 4 of your balls are kind of in problem situations with solids.
But you have 2 balls that are easy to be able to try and get shape on. The 3 ball to be able to shoot down into the bottom right corner to be able to open up those 2.
Yeah.
But then you're still dealing with a couple of balls that are in a tough position. I definitely think I'd be looking at trying to take the stripes here if I could find a way to get down table early.
Okay. So obviously, if you're taking stripes, you're looking at the 13 for your first shot. And what's that position going to look like? Are you going to try to, if you're going stripes here, do you try to get shape on this, somewhere in this area here for the 14 and the side next?
Oh, you've got a huge portion of the table to be able to get good shape on that 14. I'd be looking at trying to shoot the 13 in the corner and try and draw back down, almost down to the bottom rail.
Okay.
To be able to back cut the 15 to be able to run the cue ball in.
Oh,
that was a clever play.
I did not see the combo on the stripe there. You know what?
That was a risky shot, but it paid off big time.
Yeah, she opened up. So she did take stripes by hitting the solid first and comboing in the 6, what was it? 6, 10, whatever it was that went down. Went down in such a hurry, I didn't get to catch the number on it, but it doesn't matter. It was a stripe, and that's what they got.
Yeah, partner doesn't have a lot of, a
going
lot of anything to work here, but it looks
inside English here.
Yeah, that was a good shot, but I believe that ORTÍZ is going to have a good shot on the 14 from here. If she decides to take it, but she could take the 13 and shoot it with a little bit of high left, come off the head rail and back out. But yeah, she's taking the 14 now and get rid of it.
While I've got my eye on it, let's go ahead and get rid of this ball. And where's she going to get? 13 in the side. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, and if
a little off angle, but
yeah, if she can make that and roll out just past mid-table, then she can leave her partner the 15 in the corner. And off of that, probably be able to get shape on the 11 ball in the right side pocket. But there's nothing guaranteed here by any stretch.
Well, this is the off angle, so either Bob is going to draw this cue ball to the rail and back out, or he's going to float to a worse position and maybe leave himself down here.
I would be more to do that because
he floated almost to my spot there. You would be opt to do that shot then. Okay.
Yeah, as long as you leave the 15, then your partner can either stop there, or if you're a little too far, a little too close to the rail on the right side, you can float into the 6. If you're a little too far to the left, you can just roll down into the 5 or down to the end rail and back out like that, guaranteeing shape for your partner in pretty much any side of that ball you get on. If you try and stun up and back out, if you happen to put a little incidental left English on it, you could end up sticking yourself where you don't have a good shot on the 15.
Right. Yeah, good point.
And it's always
Oh, and he
frustrating when
just
you're hooked
rattles
by
that
your own
ball.
ball.
That would have been the rack right there if he just takes care of that 11 ball. And those side pockets are small when you're shooting at that angle. And that's going to give Joe and Kim the open opportunity that they desperately needed to stay in this match and to try to tie this thing up. So here, the only problem that they have is this cluster, but it's not really a problem because the one ball can get you position on the three, right? You get position anywhere on this line, you got a nice, easy three ball down the rail, and that takes you out of trouble.
That is true. And you also have the opportunity to be able to play a safe off of that by running into the 4 and hooking them back behind the 3. I'm not sure if you can do it from the high side of the table, but if you're down on the lower end of the table, then you can just roll into that 4 ball, bump it up toward the pocket where the 1 is, and bury them behind the 3 if you're not wanting to take the long shot on the 3.
Yeah. I don't anticipate any safeties being played in this rack unless they get unless they get somehow really badly out of position. Like if they save this this cluster to last and somehow they end up over here or something, with the cue ball, then I see, maybe a safety might be the best, but I don't predict that we're going to be seeing any safeties here.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely, but it is a possibility.
It's because of where the 11 ball is. You just don't want to give them any kicking opportunities or any opportunities back at the table. They just want to close this thing out, and they have the ability and the layout to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't foresee him playing a safe. I just, wanted to put it out there that is an option if they
I think he's going to give him he's going to give him a slight angle and bring the cue ball right to here. A slight angle on the 7.
Are perfectly positioned.
I know, because I'm thinking 7 right now. Honestly, I'm thinking the 7 right now to draw back for the 3 or break it out.
Yeah,
if
would you go 1 rail into it, or would you put a little low reg come 2 rails? I'm thinking 2 rails.
Yeah, 2 rails.
Well, he opted for 1, but he spun it out of the pocket.
Yes, he did. Putting that outside, and it just, he just hit it a little bit off. I think the deflection kind of got him a little bit there. He was working hard to get his partner perfect shape on the 3, which he did.
Well, and one of the things that comes up there is when you're hitting that a little softer, that English will throw the object ball more. If you were to hit it a little more firm and come off the head rail to the long rail and back out, then that English isn't going to throw that object ball as much.
Yeah.
So if he does hit it a little more firm, there's a good chance that he actually makes that because it's going to go more center pocket.
Yeah. So here we've got Melina ORTÍZ with this ball, and I think she's going to have to come down and underneath. Yep.
She hit that really well.
She followed my line pretty good. I like it.
It's almost like you've done this before.
See, I know how to play the game. It's just the execution part that I need to work on.
Well, you need to see if they'll let you use that mouse instead of a pool cue, because you're golden with the mouse.
Man, if I could use the mouse, then that would, I'd be an 800 probably. I'm gonna get it right in there. So a heartbreaker for Kim Raymond and Joe TAMURA. They know they had that rack. They should have had that rack, and let's see how they can come back from that, right? Having the opportunity and not achieving the result. Let's see, how they can take that and what they can do in this next rack, because it's their break, and they need to shake that off and move forward and do what they know they're capable of doing. But they certainly struggled in the hot seat match more than usual, and they had about a 3 or 4 hour break between their hot seat match and this one. So I don't know if they were getting any practice time in or anything like that, but other than, hitting a few balls before this match started. But I know ORTÍZ and OLSON were constantly in action the whole time. They were match after match after match, just only time to have a bathroom break and grab a candy bar, So,
and there are benefits and drawbacks to that, though here it seems to be working in their favor. But once in a while, it is nice to have a little bit of a break because you get a little mentally worn out if, you're having to grind match after match after match. Sometimes having that little bit of a break is nice, but having too long a one
Yeah,
can take you out of your rhythm, out of your game, and you have to start from scratch. And that seems to be what Kim Raymond and Joe Tamura are struggling with now, is trying to get back into the flow of
yeah.
playing this match.
And you got to eat properly at these tournaments because you don't know if you're going to have time. So you throw some granola bars in your pool cue case or something, just to have something to keep energy up. Because sometimes you might go 7 hours without a bite, because you're back to back to back. You don't have time to go get something at the food court.
Granola bars. So you're not saying
Well,
that we should
something.
go get some Taco Bell and stick it in our pool case to snack
I
on?
wouldn't recommend putting Taco Bell in your pool case, but that's just me. All right, so the second ball break here from Joe Tamura. Everybody else that we've seen so far has been breaking head ball, but Joe Tamura's breaking the second ball break. It was not successful.
Well, he did break from straight up the first one.
He
but
did, you're right.
He did not have any luck with it, so he trying to do the smart thing and try and make an adjustment. And unfortunately, that doesn't seem to have paid a lot of dividends for him at the moment.
Yeah, I believe all of their breaks have been dry. I think Kim had a dry break and Joe had 2 dry breaks. So that's hurting them right there. You're playing against a good team. You've got to make a ball on the break. It makes such a huge difference because you're just starting out at a huge disadvantage, letting them choose the suit and potentially not letting you to the table, which is what they did in the rack before last.
Yeah, that is one thing that I've, heard from a lot of really good players, is that when it comes down to it, the break is probably the most important shot that you have in a pool match. And I don't think a lot of people give it as much due diligence as maybe they should, because, I mean,
you got to practice the
there are
break.
several, games that could be decided over one foul break.
Okay. So after a long conference, Bob puts his extension on his cue because they decide to get attack solids here and take on this 3-ball first. And what does he get? I think he's got on the 4.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get shape on the 4, and
he did.
This angle looks like it should be good to be able to make the 4 in the
yeah,
side pocket.
I was just going to say,
stun over to open up that 7 ball.
I was just going to say, Jack, I was like, I'm taking the rack off, and so she wants a ref to come and get the rack off the table because you don't want to shoot this 4 ball over that rack right there because you're going to get all kinds of unintentional slide in that. So Molina, a very savvy veteran of the game, knows, hey, let's just call a ref. Let's not try to mess with it. Let's have the ref take the rack off. That's one of the things they're here for. They'd be happy to do it. They got all the fancy tools to, move the balls and put them back exactly where they are.
Yeah, it's one thing if you're just, playing at the bar or something like that and you're shooting this shot in like a little $5 entry fee bar tournament or something. But when you're playing for the amount of money that is on the line here, and this is a 3rd place match, you want to do everything you can to make sure that nothing is going to interfere with your shot. You want to know if it doesn't go, it's because you were responsible for it. You don't want to be second guessing whether or not something else interfered with it.
100%. You want to make sure that that's I'm definitely calling a ref to do that. And I've done, race 4 where the 8-ball goes in and I want to continue shooting, but to spot the 8, I've got to put it really close to another ball. And I know if I touch another ball with that 8-ball as I'm placing it in there, that is a foul. That's a ball in hand foul. So I will hand the 8-ball to a ref and say, can you spot this for me? And, put it on next to that ball, because if you touch another ball with the ball, that's a foul.
Oh yeah.
And I would not be happy about that. So Molina choosing to go in the side with that to get a little extra action and angle out of the cue ball and loosens up stuff. So looking pretty good here.
All right. 1 2 1 2. This is a public service announcement.
That 5-ball is not available from here, but the 7 in the side or the 6 in the bottom left corner are very doable. I'm wondering if you were to shoot the 7 in the side, with a little bit of stun, if you could play that 5 ball into the bottom left corner past the 6, and then if you end up leaving your partner a shot on the 6 in the same pocket where they could stun up for the 2 ball in the side. I'm not sure what the intention was for shape on that, but
I think they're looking at 1 in the side, 2 in the side.
yeah.
But they've got to make sure that they get good on this 5 ball. That's the key, because 15 is blocking a big portion of that ball, so you have a much smaller window on that 5 than you have on any other ball to get on.
Yeah, which is why I was thinking if you could get short side on it, if it did pass the 6 ball into the bottom left corner, that would have been the shot to play.
I think that Bob wanted to get her up here, right, which would have been great, because then shape on the 5 would have been much easier. It's just that cue ball was a little low here, and it's going to have to now be 1, 2. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
a little strong.
Well, maybe that's what she meant to do. Maybe that's what she meant to do, to get him a straighter line to the 5.
5 does go from there. I'm looking over from the corner pocket out to the 5, and it looks like there should be plenty of room to be able to play it from there.
I do believe it goes, and it's a nice angle actually too. It's a nice angle to bring the cue ball back.
Yeah, but your speed's got to be very good on this in order to be able to leave a good angle on the 6 to float back up table. And that got a little steep. I think ORTÍZ might have to go to the left rail and then off the head rail and try and play shape, but
hold on a
to
second.
cut the 2 in the
Off
side.
the left
but I'm
rail
not sure.
and the head rail
Yeah.
to play shape. Oh, with the cue ball.
Yeah, go
I
2
see.
rails up
Okay.
table.
So
to
you're
leave it.
getting a little ahead of me here.
Sorry about that.
So we're talking about she's going to cut this 6 ball, right?
To the bottom left corner.
Right. She's going to cut the 6 ball, and that cue ball is going to go, maybe even clip off the 9 and come out that way.
I think she's going to hit it with a little bit of low right.
Okay, so
to
you think
miss the
because of
9.
because of the pace the cue ball is going to have on it, it's going to go all the way down here and into this,
I think that's the idea she's going with here.
into that window there, to try to have the 2 in the side or all the way down in the corner.
Yeah.
That's a risky shot, but
It
it's
is,
what
but
they have. Right?
Yeah, I think that's about all they have, unless you want to try and get real fancy here and try and carom the 6 off of like the 15 into the corner, but that just brings a whole nother, or the sorry, not the 15,
I think it's
the 12 or 14.
I think this ball's the 14
to
ball.
tell.
Is that's
Yeah.
what you're referring to?
Yeah,
and
but it's
that's a
just-
little crazy.
Yeah, I think trying to take that kind of a gamble at this point is
No.
just not worth it.
Because you have to pocket the ball. The
Yeah.
number one goal is pocket the
Yeah.
ball. Give your partner at least something. Whether it's a jump shot, it's a jump shot. But you're still at the table, right? But you miss the shot, and it's
Yeah,
It's
I
bad,
think she's looking at trying to go 2 rails. Whether she goes to the gap there, or she may try and put a little inside to get it to check off the head rail and float back down and stay left at the 12.
oh, look at this.
Ooh. Yeah, it was the
Spin.
It was the same idea I was going with, but she played it a little tighter to that corner pocket, which was risky, but it paid off big time.
And look at this
Slow
shot from Bob
down
Olson. Look at this.
Absolutely perfect.
Wow.
Absolutely perfect.
Wow. What a shot. And so a dry break turns into a table run again. So these dry breaks are just punishing for Joe and Kim. They've got to figure out the break here, because this match is just going to get away from them. If they can't get the breakdown, it's going to be lights out.
Well, and that's one of the things about the break being so important, because you look at the amount of time that ORTÍZ and Olson have been spending on the table. They're in stroke. They have a feel for the speed of the table, the way the pockets are playing. And Joe and Kim are just sitting over there, and haven't been getting an opportunity to stroke a lot of balls. So now when they do, if they get an opportunity to shoot something, it's a lot harder for them to be able to have the right speed and be able to, be as confident when they're shooting, because all they've been doing is sitting.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their body language over there as they're sitting in their chairs, and Kim's got his arms crossed, and so does Joe, and they don't really have smiles on their faces over there. They're not happy with what's going on, but they can't do anything about it either. They're just sitting in their chair. You can never do anything from your chair, and that's why
Nothing productive anyway.
a dry break, the worst thing in the world in an alternate break format is a dry break and they run out and then they break and run, right? And it's like, okay, my dry break cost me 2 games.
Yep.
That's so frustrating as a player because you're sitting in your chair the whole time. So,
Yeah, but you got to give credit to Ortiz and Olson. They're doing everything that they're supposed to do and taking advantage of every opportunity that they're getting here. And
they're making clutch shots.
It's really easy to get a little complacent at times, and they're putting all the focus they have into every one of these shots, and they're doing a great job.
And there's been a couple of errors. They're not playing absolutely perfect. There's been a couple of position errors and a couple of missed shots here and there, but for the most part, they're playing pretty darn good. And that was a pretty good break there. Looks like they have.
They made a bowl.
Gonna have to take solids here. Not that you wouldn't want to anyway, but that's what the table's given you here for a starter is I think either the 1 or the 5. She's looking at the 6, and you might want to leave the 5 there. If you're going to take solids, I think you leave the 5 there because it makes the 6 ball much, much easier. The 6 caroms off the 5 into the side like no problem, right? It makes that pocket huge.
Yes, it does.
So I like leaving that 5 there for the help as a helper for the 6 ball.
Yeah, if you could take the 1 ball here with a little high right and come 2 rails and basically leave the cue ball dead between the 9 ball and the 4 ball, which leaves you the angle to cut the 3 into the bottom right corner.
All right, so
to stun over to get that shape on the 6 like you were talking about to play it off.
You're going high right on the 1 and leaving the cue ball somewhere in this area here.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. All right, let's see what they come up with. They are, as per the usual, they are having their little conference right after their post-break conference break, right? Post-break break to decide how they want to attack. And I really like how this team has really shown how communication is key in Scotch doubles. They have had this conference after every single break when they come to the table and it's open. They want to be on the same page with exactly how, with the layout they have, how they want to attack it. And they've been pretty on point with staying in those patterns and haven't really gotten away from them. And that's really a huge deal in Scotch doubles. You've got to be on the same page. They're doing a great job with that.
Absolutely.
All right. So she is going to take the 5 first. My preference is to keep it there just to make the 6 easier, but they play much better pool than I do, so I am not going to second guess that decision. There's more than one way to do this. The only wrong way is the one that doesn't work, like I said before.
Yep. Well, I wonder what they're going to do here, if they're going to try and cut the 6 now, or
I don't like that. I don't like cutting the 6 right now. That's a heck of a tough shot. I'm taking the 3 ball here.
I was going to say you could take the 3 ball and try and come around.
Come around. Right? You're going to come into that diamond shape. 3 rails. See if he follows my line.
Pretty good, but a little
short.
Soft,
yeah.
Unless he was trying to get short side on the 7, in which it worked decent, or was trying to leave Ortiz the 6 ball up in the corner, which is also there. But
he's leaving her the 6, so she's gonna take the 6. I think that was what his intent was there. It's hard to know without asking him, and I'm not going to do that. But that's what he's left her, and she's got to take the money shot right now. I'm calling it the money shot because I think it's going to be the hardest shot of the rack.
Yeah, if this goes, their odds of running this rack out here go up astronomically.
Right. if it goes and you don't get funny, like locked to the 10 ball or something.
Well,
you
it's hard to get bad on this because even if you're on the bad
know. What a
side,
beautiful shot. Did you
being
see
able to
that
do the
draw
4,
stroke?
yeah, she's got the
That
she got
beautiful
perfect
touch.
shape on the 7.
What a great touch on that shot.
Yeah, and if he just stops here on the 7 and leaves her a shot on the 4 in the top right corner, I think she can just roll right into that stripe. I believe it's the 15. And
This one here,
yeah,
yeah, I think so. I think it is 15.
and I think you just bump off of that a little bit, and then you're either leaving yourself a shot on the 2 or a shot on the 1. And from that spot, either one of those should be a very makeable shot without too much trouble getting back to the other ball. But you could also shoot that and try and draw over off the 4 to be able to play the 2 in the top right corner past the 1, whatever your preference is. Oh, he tried to get more out of that than
he didn't. I think it was a stretch, right? And as those where you're kind of stretching it out and you don't really put your full stroke into it because you're stretched over the table. And I think that was one of those because he wanted to, put that cue ball off the bottom rail and back out another 2 feet. And he really didn't get much out of it. So Melina with another tester, and she has passed the test on every one of these so far, it seems like. You give her a tough shot, she says, no problem, I got it. Just put it.
Another one dead in the center of the
just
pocket.
Put it in the hole. I got it. I got you, partner.
And now I think he should be able to just cut this to the top right corner pocket with a little bit of high right and check that cue ball off the head rail, come back out and leave Melina a good cut on the 1 in the same pocket.
I think his angle on the 2 is a bit steep here.
Yeah, but if you put a good stroke with a little bit of center right or maybe a little bit of high right, you can get that cue ball to check off that top rail, and it'll kill quite a bit of the speed if you stroke it good.
It's a missable shot, though.
Very missable.
It's a very missable shot. And it's also easy to come too far back and get behind the 10. So he's got to make it, and he's got to hold the cue ball with some, I believe, inside. Yes, that is what he's putting on it. I can see.
Yeah, this is a long stretch being left-handed. A right-handed player's got a lot easier
good observation
shot
there.
at this, but
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Try it on a
ORTÍZ
9-foot table. It's even longer stretch.
Yeah.
Well, you're using the bridge on a 9-foot table for this one.
Yeah,
There's no way
ORTÍZ
your
couldn't
extension
really
is
do
going to
a whole
reach it.
lot to, do that. He put her in a tough spot.
Is it going to go?
It's short, but it was dead on line.
It was dead on line, and the cue ball was held. If he just hits it just a touch harder, but he was worried about getting here. He didn't want to end up behind that 10 ball.
Yeah, and
So he hits it soft.
he played that with outside, and I think.
To use the extra rail to slow it down.
Yeah, but I think inside on that shot, it checks off that rail and kills more of the speed.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Well, hey,
It's hard to say unless you're at the table.
This is Joe and Kim's opportunity. They have not had an opportunity in quite some time. They're standing up out of their chairs, doing some stretching exercises to get the blood moving again because they've been sitting for so long. And they're having a conference on how they want to approach this.
Yeah, and they've got a pretty decent looking table here. They're going to have to get short side on the 9, and they're going to have to get up table somehow to get to that 15 ball. But this should be very doable.
And I tell you, we're going to see who's feeling better is who's going to take the first shot here. And it's going to be Joe TAMURA.
Yeah.
Joe TAMURA is the high Fargo of the 2, coming in at, I believe, 637-ish, something like that.
Yeah, he played on the Northwest Cup for Team Washington, and
a couple years ago.
He's played in quite a few pretty good tournaments and made some deep runs. So I don't think he really gets rattled that much. So having him take the starting shot, I think, is the better move.
Yeah. So they do have to address this 9-ball and 15-ball, right? Those are the ones they really have to address and know what they're doing with. And they seem to have a plan. because there hasn't been any more conferences. So they seem to be in line with their plan so far.
And
I'm
just
thinking
gotta
he's going to,
avoid
yep,
running
avoid
into
running
that.
into that. Come right into
Bump
that
that
one, and
one
that, okay,
ball.
that solves that ball.
Yeah, now if you can put a good stroke on this with a little bit of low right
You're going
and
to get
draw back off of the 15 to be able to get short side on the 9, then
Yep.
if you can get pretty much straight on
I'm gonna-
that,
I'm
this
gonna
is
draw
just
my-
a tap it in.
I'm going to
Tap
draw
it in,
my.
tap it in.
You like that position right there on the 9?
Yeah, if you can hold it that close, that's great.
Oh,
But
he got even better. He got a little bit better than I did. I kind of actually, well, being straight on it would have been better, I guess, because of 10 balls there. But this is not bad. This is not bad. He's going to, Kim Raymond's going to stun over. Just put a stun shot on this thing. Bring it in a straight line across the table. There's no scratch there, right? Because the 10 ball is preventing you from scratching. There's no reason you can't just stun that thing straight over to the side.
yeah, but he may try and hold this for the 10 in the side, which I don't think is.
I don't like holding it.
I don't think it's the best move. But
No. I like letting your stroke out, stun it, and it's going to go in a straight line over.
I think he's looking at rolling forward on this. By the way, he was lining his cue stick up.
I don't like the roll
No,
forward either.
he's-
I like
he's
a
digging
stun.
low on it.
I like
He's
a
digging
stun.
low.
I want a straight line over to the side.
Oh, he did try
he
and hold for the
rattled
10.
it. Oh, brutal. A big heartbreaker from Kim Raymond right there, knowing that they've got this rack.
3 balls to the hill, and they can be in an identical position they were in their last match, which is up 5-1. This should be fairly routine, but at this point, you need to make sure you put every bit of focus and concentration on every one of these shots, no matter how simple it seems. I'm thinking just a little bit of middle right or just a touch of high right. Come 2 rails straight in on the 8th.
Beautiful.
Or just off angle, which is even better.
And Molina seems to have absolutely no problem with these shots. Under pressure, doesn't matter. She's like she's got ice. Oh, and I did commentator curse it for. I did one commentator curse today. That was my only one. But she has been shooting like with ice in her veins on all of these shots. And, sometimes the closer you get to the hill, you start to get the finish line in your mind and you're already thinking about your next match. It's like, just got to make the ball. But she powered it in there, so she put a little power on that.
Yeah, she was a little elevated bridging off the rail too, which makes it easier for that cue ball to squirt just a little bit when you're angling down on it a little.
Yeah, good point. You're not hitting the center of the cue ball, which is your most accurate point on the ball to hit. It's the center. Further away from center, you hit on the cue ball, the less accurate you tend to be.
Ooh, this could get squirrely because if Kim shoots the 10 ball here, you could be bumping the other ball up to that rail and get it in trouble.
And if you try to draw, you could end up over here, right?
Yeah.
And he is drawing.
I think it's more of a stun into the ball and draw a little bit.
Just like that, but he missed the shot.
The ball trying to do too much.
Kim Raymond again, so he is just hurting right now.
He did come out of that little quick at the end of that stroke. I don't think he was really comfortable with the idea he was trying to execute. I think the idea was good. He just wasn't really comfortable.
He was doing what you said,
because he
which
hasn't
was that,
been shooting.
Yeah, it's right. It's you're not warm, you're not comfortable, and that's a touchy shot. You called it. And Bob Olson takes it home to put them on the hill. Ortiz and Olson on the hill, 5-1. And I tell you, TAMURA and Raymond lost the hot seat match by a score of 6-1. they don't want to do it again. They don't want to have 2 in a row like that. But I tell you, they've got to do something special here. And it starts with getting a ball on the break.
And you can tell by Joe's body language, he is very disappointed there.
Yeah.
Logan Kiso and Zach Knott. Logan goes to 3, Zach goes to 5. And table 60.
But when you're in a situation like this, you just got to keep on keeping on.
Oliverio Diaz. Williams goes to 3. Oliverio goes to 4.
Yeah, I see Kim's expression, and his face looks a little flushed, and he's got some sweat on his brow. You know, like we all felt that, man. But you know what? That's why we play this game, because if the losses and the misses didn't hurt so bad, the wins and the successful shots would not feel so good, right? You've got to have the bad to make the good so fun and exciting, right? It's like a roller coaster of emotions in this game, and that's why we play it, because it gets your blood pumping, man. It keeps it's what keeps me alive. You know what I mean? That's what I love about it. Is I never feel more alive than I do in a stressful pool match on a pool table. It's a feeling that I don't get anywhere else.
And you know, that's absolutely true. It's one of the few sports where it's just you're absolutely alone out there and everything's on you. And you know, every time you hit that cue ball, it's just you and the table. There's nobody to blame it on. There's no there's no excuse.
Look at the heartbreaker. The 4-ball doesn't drop in the side, and it gives up another dry break. And they're just like, what in the world do we have to do to get a ball in on the break? 4 dry breaks from TAMURA and Raymond.
Yeah, but luckily this is a pretty tough table here. I think they're going to take stripes here with the 11 in the side.
Yep.
But that still leaves the 13 and the 15 really tough to do much of anything with. But that was a good bump on the 7, which does open up the potential for a combo.
Yep. I think you're going to take the 10 here now, right? You got lots of potential to get things, in the right position. There's a lot of potential.
Yeah. From here, I like taking the 10 with a little high right, come 2 rails back out, leave the cue ball right between the 6 and the 8, and play that 9 ball up in the corner and just drift over.
I like what they're doing here.
This is a good opportunity to be able to open up that 15-13.
Yeah, but it's also a potential to tie them up worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you got to be really intentional here. You can't just fly at it, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be very intentional. They might actually choose to come rail first and take this 14 out of here and come up like that, and then take the 10 out next, if that's the 10. I think it is. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got this combo that plays. The 13-15 combo is fairly straightforward because they have some distance between them. You can manipulate the angle the way you want it. So I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I'm looking at that as thinking that might be a good possibility here, is to take these 2 out.
Ooh.
Oh,
that did not get everything they were looking for, I don't think.
I'm not sure what he might have wanted there.
Maybe he was trying to slide over enough to be able to leave her the 13 in the side pocket.
I think that's what he was doing.
That's tight to play to.
I mean, he might have overran, though. He might have been playing my opportunity, my shot, and just overran it a bit. It's hard to know. But either way, it's not a good outcome for the OLSON-ORTÍZ team.
Yeah, but she's thinning this, come right back on top of it for lock-up safety.
In this match, we've seen a lot of great offense out of Molina, but, her defense is just stellar. So we haven't really seen a lot of it because there just hasn't been a lot of opportunities for them to get into that defensive battle. But she is very capable on the defensive side of the game.
Oh, looks like Kim's got a look at that 7, yeah.
But he pocketed their ball. But did he sell out the 13 here?
It's It's hard to tell, but
It could go to the side, but it's a small pocket for the side.
and if you don't like the side pocket, it'll definitely bank cross corner. I'm not sure that's the right shot to go for, but the 15 and the 13 both can be banked up to the top left corner pocket.
Oh, there's your message. I just saw your text message from 4 hours ago, 6 hours ago. I haven't been checking my phone very much.
You're busy, or at least pretending like it.
Yeah, I look like I'm busy. That's the important thing, right?
Well, yeah, it keeps people
When
from
you're
pestering you.
when you're working, you got to look like you're busy.
I think
Is he gonna
he's
play
going to
another
try the
safe?
same safety. Oh,
That
no.
did not get there.
He was
He
trying
needed
to
to-
roll right up behind that 13. I thought
Yeah,
he was
he
going
was-
to play the same.
Seemed like he was
But,
so focused on not traveling the 15 too far that he didn't remember that the cue ball is going to die. And
Yeah,
he got
he didn't
need-
really stroke that. He kind of
no,
poked at it.
because to get that cue ball to that spot, he needed to get the 15 to up here, because he's hitting so full on it that all
Yeah.
the energy is going to come out of it and the cue ball is going to die. So
Yeah, I was surprised he went that way. I thought he was going to do more like what ORTÍZ did earlier and come off
Fin
the
off of it.
15 to their side rail and back into him.
yeah,
I think there's more margin for error on that because you're going to have